sport of skiing forwards, want to try going backwards? Well, now's your chance. This is the ultimate guide to switch skiing. Switch skiing is a super fundamental part of freestyle skiing because at least half the tricks you're going to try either involve taking off or landing switch. So it's a super important thing to get comfortable with early on. All right, so we'll get started with proper stance for switch skiing and we'll build it from the ground up. So what you're going to want to do is take your downhill leg, move that behind you so that your legs are nice and staggered. Then you're going to take your hips and rotate them. And then with your chest, you're going to want to stay nice and tall. Rotate your shoulders so one hand is kind of behind you like this, other hand is here, and then you're looking directly behind you. And now you see my body is almost fully sideways. All right, when you're ready to take this to the slopes, find a nice wide open run with not that many people on it that's quite flat, maybe even flatter than what we have here. And you're just going to want to traverse back and forth across the slope, looking over your downhill shoulder one way and then the other way until you're nice and comfortable going both ways all the way across the slope. So see, I'm going all the way across. My legs are staggered. I'm looking over my left shoulder. All right, now we're gonna switch over to the right side. Shoulders, hips, and chest are all fully open. My arms behind me, and I'm looking directly over. I'm not bending at the hips. Just like skiing forwards, it's super important to have the pressure on your downhill ski. That's where you're gonna get most of your control from. Next step we're gonna do, once you're comfortable traversing back and forth across the slope both ways, is we're gonna start learning how to initiate a turn. So to do that, you're gonna point your skis more downhill, taking a straighter fall line, and then really dig in that downhill ski and apply pressure, and you'll start turning across the slope. So see, I'm gonna come in, carry a bit of speed, and now I'm ready. I'm gonna apply pressure and turn. All right, and we can do this the other way now. So now I'm coming in, getting more straight. Now I'm ready, apply pressure and turn. You wanna slowly build this up, taking more and more speed each time until you're super comfortable with this motion. Now that you've got comfortable carrying some speed and initiating the turns, the next step is to link them. So a good exercise for this is to stand on a nice piece of flat ground, stick your poles kind of behind in the middle of the tail of your ski, and then practice switching sides. So you're gonna start one switch stance like this, fully commit, and then go the other side, and see how my legs just shift. They're not knocking over the poles. The reason why we do this is because a common mistake when switching shoulders to link turns is doing too much of a snowplow and kind of killing the flow of the turn. Trying to snowplow is a bad habit because it puts you on your inside edges, and when you go to take your switch stance and start initiating tricks, you're gonna catch an edge. All right, so when you're ready to link them all together, start off, come and switch, nice switch stance, turning. Now I'm at the apex of my turn, I'm gonna rotate, apply pressure to the other downhill ski, rotate again, apply pressure to that downhill ski, again. Notice how I'm scrubbing a bit of speed in between my turns. That's perfectly okay as long as we're not using a snowplow to slow ourselves down. If it's a little scary linking turns or you want to build up the confidence to taking more speed when going switch, nice way to practice this is to perfect the switch hockey stop. So of course you want to do this forwards first, but yeah, this is going to be the way that you manage your speed when you're going switch all the time. So just like a regular hockey stop, gonna come in straight, start carrying a bit of speed. When I'm ready, throw my skis sideways. You want to be applying pressure to the inside edges of your skis. If you're too flat base, you're gonna catch an edge, tomahawk, it's gonna be bad. So keep that pressure on the inside edges of your skis. Once you get comfortable doing this a few times, we're gonna start to learn how to use it as speed management. So instead of coming full stop, use it to scrub off a bit of speed until you almost come to a stopping point, and then go back to switch, and then try it again a few times. So a big common mistake with skiing switch is bending over to look behind you. The reason why this happens is probably because your skis aren't staggered enough to rotate your body, so you compensate by kind of bending under. It will make it easier to see switch, but it's a really bad habit because when you go to do tricks, you really won't be able to initiate much spin in this stance, and it's basically the backwards or switch equivalent of being back seat. So you'll also probably be landing back seat if you're taking off in this stance. All right, so once you gotten more comfortable, we wanna start linking our turns more smoothly, more fluidly. A good way to do this is find a nice, really wide run, make sure there's not too many people around, and that way you can use big turns to slow down rather than scrubbing your speed. But when we reach the apex of our turn, we're gonna switch our shoulders really fluidly rather than kind of scrubbing to kill speed. So now I'm traversing, pressure's on my downhill ski, looking behind me, I'm ready to switch over to my other shoulder, apply lots of pressure, avoid people. All right, final step in switch skiing is mastering skiing switch and carving, but looking over the same shoulder throughout. Now this is where it gets a bit weird because we're gonna break the regular paradigm that we've talked about everything you know about skiing is always pressure on the downhill ski. To initiate one of the carves, you'll have pressure on your downhill ski, and then to initiate that inside carve, you're gonna apply pressure to your uphill ski. The reason is when you're in that switch staggered stance, the uphill ski on your inside carve becomes your leading ski. It's important that you don't apply too much pressure. It's just a very subtle difference. Okay, we're gonna start this off by doing the regular switch carve we've learned. So I'm gonna apply pressure to my downhill ski, and then to go the other way, I'm gonna apply pressure to my inside uphill ski. Notice you don't wanna apply too much pressure or you'll catch an edge. As you'll notice, it's really hard to scrub speed doing the inside turn, almost impossible. So if you do need to speed check, be patient and wait until you're on that downhill ski to do it. The reason why we learn how to carve looking over only one shoulder is because when you're coming into a jump or a rail feature, you're not gonna be wanting to switch shoulders in the in-run. You're gonna wanna stick with whichever way you're planning on spinning, and that's why we learn this skill. Of course, it's important to practice this, going over both shoulders so we get comfortable going both ways. Once you're comfortable, it's super fun. You can kind of carve and then pop the switch. Ski switch for a bit. Maybe there's another roller coming that you can pop off, and then keep the flow going. Hope you enjoy the ultimate guide to skiing switch. Once you get comfortable with it, it just opens up a whole world of possibilities. So I highly recommend every time you're out skiing, pick a green run, work your way up to a blue run, get a few turns in switch, and you'll have it in no time.